I figured it's about time for me to do this tag because I've been making booktube videos for about a year and I've never really introduced myself. This wasn't the original plan for the channel when I created it, and I've just kind of gone with it because reading's fun and booktube's fun and I like being here. So without further ado, here's the first question. Why did I start this channel? Initially, I started this channel to upload covers of myself singing when I was about 14, 15 kind of age. I don't do that any longer. It was fun while it lasted, but those were not videos that I wanted on the internet for a long time. I've deleted most of them and I have privated the ones that I didn't want to delete. The reason I came back after a massive break was because I love reading and I love booktube and I spend a lot of my time on booktube. I spend a lot of my time reading books and I needed somewhere to put my thoughts and feelings to help enunciate and like clarify exactly what I was feeling about these books. I just needed somewhere to put it. So here we go. I had a channel raring to go and I used it, and that's why we're here now. What's unique about this channel? Me. You won't get another version of me anywhere else on YouTube. My taste in books, my other hobbies that feed into this channel. There's a little bit of writing, there's a little bit of like D&D, things along those lines. You're gonna get a bit of a taste for. If you like fantasy creatures, this is the place to be. I love a fantasy creature. If you can't see much of this wall, but a lot of this wall is fantasy shit. Yeah, that's what you're gonna get. If you are in any way part of the little Venn diagram that is my reading taste, you're gonna enjoy being here. Why do I love reading? Why don't I love reading? Like, it's reading. It takes you to somewhere else, a different world that is more interesting than our own. Certain elements of books make my brain go ding. And I like it when my brain goes ding. It's a good feeling. It also shuts my brain up. I have a very loud brain. My brain talks all the time. It's just constantly moving and doing things and thinking things and telling me things, and I don't want to listen to it all the time. So if I'm reading a book, my brain shuts up and just reads the words on the page for me in my head and I hear them and that's all I can hear, and that is great. Sometimes I just need a brain break. And that is what a book is. I also like learning. I like reading stories. I like finding similarities and histories and new ideas, usually in fantasy realms, of just whatever I can. And I want to absorb those. So books. Books are usually where I get that from. What are my favourite books? I hate this question. Like a lot, because I don't really have any all-time favourites. My tastes change, my moods change, but off the top of my head, right this second, if I had to recommend 4 books, because I can never narrow it down to 3, I would say Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater, Sorcerer of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. Currently, at the moment, those are the books that make my brain go ding real loud and that I am most likely to reread in the future. If you like any of those books, you're going to want to stay right here, because that's basically what I read. What booktube challenge is my favourite and which will be the hardest to overcome? I don't know a lot of booktube challenges. I've done a couple, so I can't really talk about that. If we're talking about challenges that are hard to overcome in the booktube space, finding people that fit within my Venn diagram, both for me to follow and for them to find me, is tricky. I'm still trying to compile my little like group of people that have their toes dipped in the same pots of genre that I like. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. I've got a very specific image in my head of what I mean. I don't think I have the words to describe it properly. Yeah, that's difficult at the moment, is finding like a little community, because I'm finding people reading a lot of the same thing, which is fine. That's how trends work, and I do like some of those trends, but I'm still trying to find that niche. I think I'm still trying to find the niche that I want to be in, that I want to belong to, and see if anyone else is in it currently already. I think that's the best way of describing it. When did I start reading? As soon as I could read. Pretty much. My entire family reads. My mum's a huge bookworm. My mum's worked in the publishing industry for many years, and she was reading to me before I could read to myself, and when I could read to myself, I was reading to myself all the time. I was a massive bookworm. We used to listen to audiobook in the car, in long road trips. That's how I started reading. I think, like most people, I had a bit of a dip towards the end of school and into uni kind of age, just because I was doing other things, and I'd lost exactly, I wasn't really sure what I liked in a book at that point, because the transition from middle grade to sort of the YA stuff, I wasn't quite ready to read adult things. was, but also the YA wasn't really appealing to me as like what was published at that time. So I dipped a bit, and then I came back when I found Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, and I found that in January of 2018, 19, something like that, and I spent that entire year reading every single book in the Elderlings series, and that's how I spent my year, and it was fantastic. And I tweeted about it, and Robin Hobb liked my tweet, and I was like, oh yeah, no, love that. It was great. I loved it. And then I just started reading more and more and more and more, and I keep surprising myself about how much I can read and enjoy, and now I'm here and we're just gonna keep going. Where do I read? I read on the sofa or in bed. If we're talking about where I get my books from, I read on Everand, which is where I get my audiobooks. I also read on Spotify, which is where I get one audiobook a month, because I can never fit more into my 15-hour time slot, and I don't like starting a book on Spotify than having to wait half a month to finish it. That's a whole other rant. I also read from my library. I read on my commute. I read on the bus. I read while I walk. Audiobooks are my friend. A lot of how I consume my books at the moment is via audiobook, and if you start any of that, audiobooks aren't real reading nonsense. You can fuck off. Thank you. That's rubbish. What are my favourite genres? Genre-wise, fantasy. Fantasy. That was all I read for a very, very long time, and general rule of thumb, if it's got like even a toe dipped in the fantasy pool, I'm quite happy to give it a try. If it involves magical creatures, I'm there. I'm straight in. I love anything to do with magical creatures. Recently I have been branching out. I've been reading more non-fiction, more horror, more thriller and mystery, some speculative stuff, which has been cool, and I'm finding stuff that I enjoy. So right now I'm trying to expand out of the fantasy genre and find the things that I really like, and that's an exciting place to be. What does my book collection look like? It looks like this. That is it. Look. All of that that's all my books. Plus my little, like, over here, these are my to be read. That's my TBR pile. That's all my books. The bottom two shelves are double stacked. We are going to build some risers for them. That's what the planks of wood over here are for, because they're Kallaxes, so they're quite deep, so I can actually see the ones at the back, and then there's plenty of room to expand. I am excited to expand my collection. There we go. That's me. That's how I read. That's what I want on this channel. That's who I am. That's where I'm at. I'm going to pop the newbie tag questions in the description below, so feel free to use them, talk about them, answer them yourself. If you're on Booktube, I want to hear about your reading and your tastes and all of that. Let's have a chat. Let's have a discussion. Have you read any of the books that I like? Tell me about them. Do you have any thoughts? Did you hate them? Why did you hate them? I'm running out of questions. This was the video. Have a good day. Bye.